All right, good afternoon, everyone. Why don't we start with the roll call for our meeting today?
Hey there, this is Penny. Thought I'd start with a roll call for you. So we know that Commissioner Lance is not here today. Carla Reynolds. Okay. Joe, I think I saw
Here.
your face. Alana's here. Kara Beer. No. Nate.
Here.
All right. Vester. Okay. Kelly.
Here.
All right. TR.
Here.
Okay. Amy.
Here.
And I didn't see Ted on yet. Is Ted on the call? No. Okay.
He won't be
That's
making it today.
okay. And that's all I had on my list, Phil. I'll mark Carla as a yes.
All right, awesome. So why don't we get going? Next we'll do the review and approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved, Kelly.
Or Joe.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Oh. Okay. The next item on the agenda is review and approval of the prior meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Move, Nate.
Support, Kelly.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Phil, I'll turn it to you to share an update from the staff.
All right, thanks, Lana. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'll bring up the PowerPoint here. All right. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. Thank you for coming, everybody. We're excited to kind of go over a recap of what happened in 2024. A lot of not only events, but really processes were completed in 2024. We're very excited to see what happens in 2025. But I wanted to thank not only everybody on this board, but all of the airport staff as well. They did a tremendous amount of work in 2024, as you'll see here. And I know we're excited to see what 2025 holds. So I mentioned we'll go over some of the highlights that we went through this year, some development highlights, a couple of the grants that we received in 2023 and in 2024, and then some of the updates we had from previous airport advisory board meetings. So the FAA hangar update that was kind of announced last meeting. The ALP update seems to be a quarterly update, so we'll give you an update on that. And then just some kind of some cool things that happened at the airport regarding the presidential movement that we had here last month, actually end of October. So, and then finally at the end, I'll let TR and Penny speak about the Centennial event that happened back in September. So, just wanted to start with some airport development that's been going on here at the airport. So, Waco has officially begun construction on their 45,000 square foot pre-production facility. So, if you drive down South Airport Road, and you look over to your left where the Waco building is, you'll see some construction fencing in place. So that's officially begun. So we're excited for Waco to expand their pre-production facility that will support their Junkers aircraft line. If you did come to the Centennial celebration, you saw that aircraft. It was kind of parked right next to the College of Aviation facility over there. Duncan completed their 74,000 square foot hangar project earlier this year. So that was a lot of fun. If you folks got a chance to go down there, I know Duncan had an open house and we're kind enough to invite the advisory board and the members of the community over. That was a fantastic event. It was a beautiful hangar. It's so cool to see that go from just conception to reality. So congratulations to Nate and the Duncan team over there, because that was a fantastic event that Duncan held, but also an awesome building. So I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, Nate, but did you want to add or say anything to that?
No, I mean, we're excited. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to the opening due to illness, but yeah, we were just excited to share it with the community, and we too are excited about just the additional throughput and the opportunity it's going to provide Battle Creek with those additional aircraft being here. So just a tremendous opportunity for Duncan, but also the community too, and just glad to share it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
Next, we'll get into some of the grants that we received. So this right here is a brand new natural gas powered generator. It supports the air traffic control tower. We received this grant in 2023. We got the funds allocated in 2023. Worked with a contractor. It took about a year for them to build this generator, have it shipped over, and then we were able to install it in October of this year. So it's fully operational. It supports all of the equipment and operations there at the air traffic control tower. Replaced a diesel-powered generator. I'm sorry, that was original to the building. So the building's coming up on about 20 years old. So the generator that we have now is completely powered by natural gas. So it's a little greener. Works, fantastically. We don't have any issues with it so far, so that's nice. And again, we're very happy that we were able to get one of these grants from a competitive FAA program that they have running through the end of next year. Another grant from that same program that we were able to win in 2024 was to replace some of the equipment in the air traffic control tower. So think of radios, antennas, window shades, that sort of stuff. So anything that's used in the cab, communications equipment that's used in the cab for operating the air traffic control tower, that'll all be replaced probably sometime at the beginning of next year. The contracts have been signed. I think they've begun ordering some of that equipment. We should see that being replaced, probably that March, April timeframe of next year. So $350,000 for that. So again, very excited. And that went on top of the about $110,000 we got to replace a airfield lighting control and monitoring system. So just over about $1.2 million that we're able to get over the last 2 years to replace aging infrastructure at the air traffic control tower. We're continuing to compete and look for grants to support that, not only that building, but any project here at the airport. But those were just 2 recent ones that were completed just in the past month or so. And then this one, like I said, the equipment will actually be replaced early next year. So we're excited for that. The last grant we got this year, or really finished up this year, was a state grant that we received from Department of Transportation's Office of Aeronautics, $80,000 to go towards repainting some of the airfield markings, as well as crack sealing some of the cracks that we have out here on the airfield. Again, a lot of the work that we would have had to do, or that would have had to come out of our budget, was paid for by the state. So we supported some of that work just because we had some additional repairs or an additional need, especially on that parallel runway that we have on the east side of the airport. So the grant was for $80,000. We put in about $20,000 that we also had allocated for some pavement repairs to some of the access roads around the airport. So we had some leftover money from that. So we were able to put in about $100,000 worth of maintenance repairs to the airfield. That work took place in October and November. And if all of you remember, it was relatively warm October and November, luckily for us. So we were able to go out there and work, usually in a time where, you never know if it's going to be 30 and snowy, or this year it was kind of 60 and sunny. So we were very fortunate that we were able to get that work completed at the end of the construction season. So those were the grants that we've gotten just for this year. Again, we're going to go after additional grants. We already submitted an application to the state for the same type of repainting or markings, airfield marking paints, and crack seal that you would see throughout the airport. So We should be notified by that or of those awards in March if we get any of that funding. So any questions on grants or any comments on any of the development or grant pieces that we've seen here at the airport this year? All right. Another big piece of news that we were very excited about was the FAA hangar. So the FAA has been at the airport since 1992. Again, they're a flight inspection field office. There's only 5 of these in the country. So there's a very select few airports that even have this mission for the FAA. What they do is they fly around to about 10 different states in the Great Lakes region. So think of North and South Dakota as kind of the far west end of their region, all the way over to Eastern Ohio, Southern Illinois. So really encompasses the entire Great Lakes region, 10 different states that they fly to different airports, inspect the land-based navigation equipment at. And they've been here at Battle Creek since 1992. However, though, their long-term lease was a 20-year lease. It expired in 2012, and they've been working on just a year-to-year lease really since 2012. So having them here for now over 30 years, we thought it was appropriate to go to the FAA and say, hey, we'd like something a little more longer term than just a year to year. They felt the same way. So we were able to, the FAA doesn't do anything more than a 5-year lease when it comes to their properties, which is fine with the airport. So for the next 5 years, we'll have the FAA continue to be based here. It also saw price or rate escalation as well. So we were happy to see that because we haven't escalated the price since 1992. So that was a big financial win for the airport as well. So not only does it keep a variety or a good mix of tenants at the airport. As an airport, you want to see a good mix or a good revenue mix at any airport. Just think of if an airline or an airport just had one airline as opposed to, let's say, 5 or 6, and that airline were to go under or were to go somewhere else, you really wouldn't have any income. So the more that you can diversify, you might hear your financial advisors say diversify your portfolio. The more we can diversify our tenant base here, the more it keeps the airport healthy. It helps advertise the airport to show that we have a strong tenant base here, and we'll see the FAA here for at least another 5 years. We're excited for that. We have a couple projects that'll be ongoing here towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, to replace some of the carpet, paint some of the walls in the office there, just to kind of meet some of the lease agreements that we had to there. But we're very excited because it keeps the FAA here. They're a great partner to have, and it's great for the city of Battle Creek again to have that diverse tenant base here at the airport. So that was a huge win for the airport. Again, they've been here for 32 years, so they've been here longer than Western, a little longer than Duncan. They're really one of the longer tenants that we have at the airport. So they do a great job again in the region, and they help support the national airspace system. And we're very fortunate and excited to keep them here at Battle Creek for another 5 years. The next update I have, again, 2024 was great for the ALP or the airport layout plan. It really is, 2024 was a time where we really got to dive into the data, conduct interviews with not only the tenants, but the city and entities that support the city as well. So I'm sure a lot of you folks, if you weren't here at the last Airport Advisory Board meeting in September, you were probably a part of these tenant interviews. So the consultant collected a lot of the data. So you might see anything from the number of operations we have, the direction that the wind flows on an annual basis. So they need that to compute whether or not we qualify for a crosswind runway that we have, all the way down to speaking to each of the tenants to see if they have any expansion or maybe upcoming expansion possibilities, or how their operations are doing, or if they're going to see an increase in the number of based aircraft that they have, such as Western. So it was a huge, I'd say, help from everyone that was able to participate in these. We greatly appreciate that because it helps us support, it helps support our case to the FAA and to the state. So when we take all of that data, and we take all these interviews to the state, and the FAA gives them a much clearer picture to how important the airport is to not only the city and the state, but the region and the entire national airspace system. So it really does help us out. So I appreciate everybody who is involved in that. I know it takes a lot of time to speak to these consultants, and I'm sure they had a lot of questions for everybody, and then they come back to us. We kind of go through everything that was said, and then we design some alternatives for the airport. So everything from what the airport looks now to what the airport could look like in the future. And it's not so much just me and my staff sitting down and say, oh, let's do this and let's do this and let's expand this and let's get rid of this. It's really what the FAA is willing to pay for. So a lot of what we have here in terms of runways, taxiways, and ramps are supported with grants from the FAA. And in order to attain those funds or compete for those funds, we have to meet certain criteria. So the amount of aircraft we get, the size of the aircraft we get, that all has to meet certain criteria. So having these interviews helps support the data that may not necessarily fit for having a 10,000-foot runway or having a taxiway that's maybe too wide or is wider than the standard should be. So everything that that we've asked the tenants and the folks here in Battle Creek has been greatly appreciated. It's been great support. We've had great feedback so far. We talked with, again, the Office of MDOT's Office of Aeronautics. They were very supportive in the plan that we had for the airport and all the data that we presented to them. The last piece that we're really waiting on is a meeting with the FAA, and we'll start talking with them or negotiating with them about the assets that we have here. So again, the 3 runways that we have, the number of taxiways that we have, the size and the width of the taxiways, the ramps, anything like that is up for discussion. Really anything inside of the fence that the FAA has paid for or is, we'll say, willing to pay for in the future is up for discussion. So that's what we've done so far in 2024 from the ALP. We'll see what happens in 2025. We're excited to, again, give the advisory board updates as those move along. So we expect hopefully sometime in January. We were hoping to get it by the end of the year, but MDOT and the FAA are going to have some internal meetings first this month, and then hopefully next month we can sit down with the 2 of them and talk about this ALP update. So any questions on the ALP or the FAA or going forward into 2025 with those 2? All right, fantastic. And the last one was kind of a fun one. Fun from maybe outsiders' perspective. It's a lot of work. Anytime the president or the vice president or a presidential candidate comes into an airport, there's a lot of planning that goes into it, a lot of support that's needed. You've obviously got law enforcement and city officials that are planning and getting sites ready or getting routes ready. Here at the airport, we had Kamala Harris and her campaign team come through on October 26th. It was a Saturday. So they flew in the morning, they flew out that night. But it was a great chance, again, to partner with public safety, not only at the local and the city level, but we had the county there, state police were there, and then obviously Secret Service was there. It was great. Nate's team over at Duncan did a fantastic job. We actually had 3 separate aircraft fly in. So we had this 757 come in, which is pretty large. Then we had a 737 come in, and we also had a G5 come in as well, or G4. So we had 3 separate aircraft for that visit or that campaign stop come in. It's a huge amount of work. Airport staff did a fantastic job. Again, they had to come in on a Saturday, stay for about 12 hours, do anything the Secret Service or any of that support team asked for. And yeah, it was, again, kind of cool for the community to see that happen. And luckily, everything went off for the most part without a hitch. And she was able to come and go as she needed. So it's a big, deal for the community when anyone like that comes through, especially for the area. So we were happy to support it. I am, glad that this only happens maybe once every 4 years, because it can, they kind of give it to you last second and people are asking a lot of questions, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun. And, you make it on the news, you kind of get to see some of these behind the scene things that not a lot of people do get to see. So yeah, again, we appreciate everybody's help at the airport because it does, anytime you have something like this, it does kind of stop everybody's operations and make it a little bit harder for everybody to operate. But all the tenants were great. The community was great. Didn't have any problems. And again, we appreciate everybody's support with that. So any questions on that or any things? Sorry, I didn't invite the advisory board out here. I'd probably just get the Secret Service throwing me in some room if I would have done that. So if you guys saw it on the news, though, they did fly into Battle Creek, flew out of Battle Creek, and will always be here to support any of those missions. So. All right, I will hand it over to TR and Penny. I just put some bullets up here, TR, but feel free to go over the Centennial event however you'd like. I'll hand it over to you.
Great. We had a great day on September 21st. I want to thank everybody that came out and helped on it and worked on it over the time. That morning, if you got out there, we had a dense fog that came in that morning, which kind of limited the amount of fly-ins we had, but we did have an Army Chinook that came in the fog, and it was kind of fascinating to watch it. You could hear it coming, and they vectored it in the fog and sat down, and as soon as it sat down, turned off its rotors, the fog cleared. So I think the Chinook was responsible for clearing the fog, but it ended up being a beautiful day. Had several other planes fly in. We had Tim Brucci was there with his L-39 and did a few flybys. We had a few military aircraft, some other fly-ins, some unique planes, some unique vehicles. It was just an awesome day. We had a great presentation from Russ Calvahuna, who was formerly with WMU and with the Aeronautical Board. So that was a good time. We had the great pancake breakfast. Alpha Eta Road did an awesome job with that. All in all, it was a great day. Everybody participated, and I just want to thank everybody that worked on it and came out and did that. I'm still getting requests to do presentations. In fact, I did one yesterday. Some of the clubs and stuff booked way in advance, so I just got booked and I did a presentation yesterday at a club. But throughout this time, we've raised a lot of awareness for the airport. A lot of great things came out of it, I think. And we continue to build our scholarship fund. We've got some money in that now, and I pitch that every time I go out, and hopefully we'll continue to build that. In the next few years, we may be able to give away some scholarships to the area and do that. And it's just, I think it was a real eye opener for a lot of people. And we continue. The one thing we have left to do is we're still working on a book. We'll continue to do that, and hopefully we'll get that out within the next year. We got a lot of stuff for it, a lot of pictures, a lot of stories. So that's where we stand, and I think we had a lot of lessons learned. In 100 years, we'll do it again. So I think it'll be good. Penny, you got anything to add to that?
The only thing I would have to add is if any of you did attend the event and take any photos, we would love to include some of those in the book. I know I have a few, but if anybody else took some while we were there, we would love to see those.
Great. So thanks again for everybody that came out. It was a lot of work by a lot of people, and we had a great day, and forward to doing it again sometime, maybe. Thanks.
Thanks, TR. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who came and supported the event. It was really, I came here in October of 21, and the Centennial Committee was already meeting, so it took years to plan and put that together. So it was a lot of work. Again, thank you, TR, for chairing that committee, and it was a fantastic product. Yeah, the fog made it a little dicey, but the Army was able to make it in, and then it turned out to be a beautiful sunny fall day. So thank you, everybody who did come to that. We'll keep you updated on the book as it progresses. So that is all I have. I just, again, wanted to thank everybody for all their support in 2024. You've probably heard me say this a lot, but this is a huge asset, not only to the city and the state, but the region and the nation. and wouldn't be possible to have the type of airport that we have here without all of your support. So I truly appreciate that. Our staff appreciates that. I think it's good at the end of the year to kind of go over everything that we were able to accomplish. And this is just, you know, a microcosm of what we've done. Some of the key highlights. I mean, they do things all the time, from setting up and taking down things for the air show, to removing snow, to you know, removing aircraft from runways that have landed without, you know, landing gear, or other accidents or incidents around the airport. So that stuff happens every day, and the staff here do a fantastic job of keeping this place up and running, and you know, being one of the best airports in the country. So I appreciate everyone's support. I know our staff appreciates your support, and we're looking forward to a fantastic 2025. So that's all I have, Alana. I'll put the rest of the agenda up here for you.
Thank you, Phil. And thank you to the airport team.
Thank you.
So next on the list is a discussion about our next meeting date and time, and there's two options listed here. Are there any strong feelings one way or another for either of these dates?
I would prefer March 11.
Okay,
That's a Tuesday too. Sorry, they're both Tuesdays.
thank you, Phil. Any other preferences? Okay,
I
well, it
would
sounds like
prefer
we're going.
March 11th as well too.
Okay, we're going with
Thank
March
you.
11th. Let's do it. All right. So next on the agenda is public comment. Are there any comments from the public?
We currently have no one in the waiting room.
Thank you. Are there any member comments? All right. So is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Support.
Any other comments last time? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you everyone for your time. Have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year.